the first slide, please. All right, thank you. There are 12 tips to help you start a language school. Next. The first one is decide on how your language school will operate. So one of the first decisions you will need to make before starting language school is whether it will operate online or in person. So if online, all activities are conducted via the internet using various digital platforms such as video conferencing, email, chat, and social media. And if in person, all activities are conducted directly in the same physical location, such as in a classroom, office, or other meeting places. And you can see in the slide, factors to consider for physical location. So if you decide that your language school will have a physical location, there will be many factors that you need to consider. Some of these include, the first one is funding. So do you have the funds available to buy or rent a property? And the second one is furnishing and supplies. How you will finance the furnishing and teaching supplies that your school needs. And the last one is health and safety requirements. So are you confident that your school will be able to manage the health and safety requirements for a physical premise? And next slide, please. Yeah. Teaching location. If you decide to start a language school that operates in person, the next step is to think about where you want to be based. So the first one is choosing a location for in-person school, and the second one is proximity to competitors, and then availability of public transportation, and the last one is local laws and regulations. Next slide, please. Okay, thank you. And the next step is identify your language school's target market. So the next step is to do some market analysis and research, because this will help you determine what type of students your language school will serve. You can see in the slide, there are 3 points. On a basic level, you will need to decide whether your language school target market is adult learners or children. If your language school target market is children, it is important to note that there will be specific security as well as health and safety regulation that you will need to follow. It's also a good idea to consider which age group of children you are hoping to teach so that you can identify the right learning resources for their needs. And with adult language learners, you could refine your target market to people who want to learn a new language. Alternatively, you could offer your services to working professionals who needs to complete a language courses for industry certification. And next slide, please. Okay, the third tips is create a formal business plan. So one of the most important steps for any new venture is to compile a formal business plan as a blueprint for your language school. A business plan will outline. You can see in the slide. The first one is manage structure. So how you will manage the teaching business, and then financing needs. What kind of financing you will need to get your language school up and running. And the next is hiring needs. A list of people you will need to hire. And the last one is marketing strategy, how you will make your language school. So this structure will give you a better understanding of whether the language school is a viable business idea and where you may need to adjust your plans. All right. Oh yeah, next slide, please. Okay, and there are 3 points in finance that you must pay attention. The first one is calculating expenses. The second one is estimating income. And the last one is allocating budget for marketing. Okay, I think that's all from me. The next presenter is Karmila Toislaka. Time is yours.
Okay, thank you, moderator, for the chance. So the next tips is know what your legal consideration are. So the first point here is education regulation in the region or country. So knowing the laws in the country or region where we plan to open a language school is very important to avoid any possible legal issues and ensure that your language school runs smoothly. And there are several regulations that we need to be considered when setting up a school. The first is the curriculum must comply with the country's academic standards. And the next point is standardized curriculum. Yeah, as I said before, the curriculum must comply with the country's academic standards. The next is certification and contracting of teaching staff. So the teaching staff or teachers, whether they need to be certified in their position, how to organize their benefits, and how we structure the employment contract. And the last is types of funding and school fees. So funding resources, it means what kind of funding sources will be proposed and how often students will have to pay the tuition or the fees. Next slide, please. Thank you. So the next tips is think about ways to market your language school. The next is competitors analysis. So another thing to do in establishing a language school is to market the schools. The first improved way is to analysis your competitors. Gather a list of what courses your competitors offer, as well as how much they charge for their classes. And if you can beat them in terms of quality and affordability, this is one way to ensure your language school is attractive to potential students. The next is reach out to targets by creating posters, social media, or website. So out to the target audience using posters, social media, or a website. And the last is optimize the media use. For example, a website maximize with complete information that the target may need, and also make the target easier to find the website itself. And next slide, please. Okay, the next tips is hire great talent for your language school. The first is essential hires administrators, teacher, financial managers. So staff or teachers will be a major influence on the students' experience at your school. So that's why it is important to hire the right people with the necessary skills to help drive your teaching business forward. So the recruitment you need to do for your language school includes school administrator, a teacher for various subject, and also accountants or finance managers. The second is recruitment strategies. So make sure you have a recruitment strategies in place. One of the things that you need to do is check the experience and qualification of the teacher you hire. And also the next is competitive salaries and benefits. So consider how you will offer competitive salaries to your staff so they will more interested about your language school, and also continuously improve teacher skills that are usable to the school and also to individual the teacher itself by offering teacher paid opportunities to improve their teaching technique and methods, and also providing graded access. All of me, I give back to you, moderator. Thank you.
Alright, thank you, Karmila Toislaka. The next presenter is Gracia Putri Kinanti. Time is yours.
Okay, thank you, moderator. So the second is focus on a good design. So competition among language schools is high, so you need to stand out from the crowd. If you want to maximize your chances for success when opening a new language school, the first rule is to create an inviting space that reflects your culture. While there are some practical things that you need to include, desks and chairs, for example, there are a variety of different design aspects to consider when decorating your space. One of the most important aspects is creating a welcoming environment built on a positive student experience. So here are a few design principles to help you get started. The first one is make sure that your classrooms have lots of presentation space. The second one is build quiet individual working spaces. And the third one is ensure that your classrooms have good acoustics, especially in bigger spaces. And then find ways to include inviting or natural light. Make sure that there are enough electrical outlets. And the last one is ensure that your language school has a stable internet connection to facilitate learning. Next slide, please. Okay, the eighth is get the culture right. So with all of the factors you need to consider when starting a language school, it's easy to overlook the importance of your staff and student culture in its early stages. However, it's vital to pay attention to culture from the beginning because people want to identify with their environment and feel like they have a purpose. And then make sure that you listen to students and staff to nurture your language school's human element. Next slide, please. Okay, the ninth is focus on positive enrollment experiences. So keeping your enrolled students connected and engaged with your school is one of the most effective ways to ensure its success. Your language school is there to enrich your students and teach them valuable skills, so make sure you are actively focusing on how to do that. One way to do this is to invest in each of your students' experiences from their first day. Make sure that your teaching staff prepare and organize their classrooms to welcome students and make them feel comfortable. So when students have a good experience with your school, they are more likely to spread the word about your services. Okay, I think that's all from me. I give it back to the moderator. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Gracia. Kinanti. The next presenter is Ulfiana. Time is yours.
Okay, thank you, moderator. And then the 10th point is we'll be talking about get aboard on board. So this point is focusing on government value in some school. So governing board plays a crucial role in the strategic direction and overall success of an educational institution because they are provide rules that lead some school to conducting their school. So sometimes it's really essential to know the rules and value from government. And then these are the steps expertise over panellarity because individual is really important. And then you need to focusing on some personality in school. And the second one is training and resources. Training and resources is really essential too because the teacher or the tutor in some school need to know the value of him or her before we are hire them in our institution. And then good governance process is not it take a long time because the government needs to prepare what the school need and then what the teacher and then also student need in some school. And then we are moved to the next point. So this is the 12 tips. Tip is go with innovation. So we are live in a 5.0 era, and then technology cannot be separated in our education system. And these are the type of go with innovation. The first one is embracing technology and education. As we can know, after the COVID-19, that the era of technology is really important to our life because the technology has been helping us to conducting the classes online. And then the second one is staying updates with trends and innovation. Actually, to gain the student, you need to promote your school, what's your make your school better in our school. And then the third one is implementing school management solution. So this one is really essential too in some English language school because management is the solution of financial problem or the teacher problem and also students parents. And then the 12th point is about take care of administration. That's really important for someone who wants to conducting the EL school or establishing EL school because administration is features of and then also the ways for us to improve our school. And these are the steps for this point. The first one is lesson scheduling and tracking. You need to make a good schedule that can access or can apply by student or teacher and also other staff in that school. And then attendance management, that's really important to know who is absent or who is coming for the school. And billing and payment tracking is really essential for the establishing some EL school. And then the last one is communication tools, also important to the way teacher and student communicate about the problem of administration. I think that's all from our presentation. I give it back to moderator.
Okay, thank you for the presenter, and thanks for your good present material. I think that's all from our presentation. Thanks for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.